either live by the gun or you die by the sword.
Start your engines for another Good, the Bad, and the Weird Nic Cage November episode. I'm Nico.
And I'm Chris, and today we're going to boost this podcast.
Boost, yes. Yeah. If you haven't guessed it, we are doing the now more, I'd say more iconic than the original Gone in 60 Seconds.
No, 100% more iconic than the original, because I didn't realize the original existed until after researching this one.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't realize it, which is saying something, because, like, I like this movie. I watched it plenty, like, over the years. Didn't realize there was another version of it, because when you type in Gone with 60 Seconds into whatever streaming service you're using, this is the one that shows up.
Alright, well, I did watch the original before this.
I did watch this. I watched it after I watched this one.
Yeah. Well, same, but I knew that the original existed for a long time. I just didn't have a reason to really watch it. Same with the original Italian Job. I know that exists, and I haven't gotten to it yet. It's just I wasn't a huge fan of this adaptation or this whatever this version is. The 2000
recreation.
Yeah, the 2000 remake of Gone in 60 Seconds. I wasn't a huge fan of it, so I didn't really care to go and watch the original until now.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm not a car head, but I like cars. I like movies with cars. I like TV shows with cars.
Mm-hmm.
This came out right around my, like, peak car interest, and then, like, leading into the years that I was like, oh my god, I love cars and car TV shows and car movies. So, like, racing movies and all that sort of stuff. This should have been like, oh, cool, let me find more about this. But what actually happened was I watched a movie with 50-ish nice, cool cars in it. I looked at the cars. I enjoyed said cars. I then moved on with my life. I did not research Gone in 60 Seconds starring Nicolas Cage until now. And I am kind of bummed because I did go back and watch the original one. It's good. I like it. It's not the same. It's not like the same level of ridiculous.
It's way, way different. So for those unfamiliar, this is based on the 1974 movie written by H.B. Halicki.
Also called Toby.
Okay.
His nickname was Toby.
And with this screenplay by Scott Rosenberg, directed by Dominic Sena, stars Nicolas Cage as Memphis Raines, Giovanni Ribisi as Kip Raines, and Angelina Jolie as Sarah Sway Wayland.
Hot damn.
Yeah.
With some questionable hair choice, I'm not gonna lie. Don't get me wrong. I love Angelina Jolie. Fantastic, always a treat. This was some questionable choices.
Yeah. I will say, before we get into it fully, that this movie has way more to the plot than the original. Like, the original 74 version is legitimately just, hey, we gotta steal a bunch of cars. And I think it's 50 cars in 3 days instead of 60 cars like in this one.
It is slightly lower stakes and a longer time frame.
And a lot more car chases, a lot more titties, poster titties, but also even more questionable fashion than this one.
I agree, and a lot of that was because the Halicki, or Toby as I'm going to call him because I'm not sure if I'm saying the name right, he was also a stunt driver and an actor and a filmmaker, and so he was like, I'm into cars. Everyone else into cars? Yeah? Okay. So, like, a lot of that movie was mostly just him using his expertise and his connections to make a film.
Carsploitation.
Oh, 100%. And, like, it did well enough. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I agree. Little tiny less plot than this one, and I say a tiny because this one also has barely any plot.
It has enough to keep the story going without, like, occasionally reminding us that it's about family. Before Fast and the Furious, because this is even like 2 years before the original Fast and the Furious. Or the first in our Fast and the Furious franchise.
Correct. No, I agree. This one came out peak, like, car movie watching experience. However, something to note is there's like an asterisk to the production of this. Dennis, I'm so sorry, I'm going to say her name wrong. Charcuterie? I don't know. I'm so sorry. Anyway, she was Toby's wife. Unfortunately, Toby did die making the second Gone in 60 Seconds movie. He was a stunt driver and was killed in an accident during filming. And so she is a executive producer of the film, partially for licensing reasons, but also in memory of him.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still love that Tarantino made a movie for stunt people.
I completely agree, and I think if I had known that the world of stunt people existed when this movie came out, I would have been fascinated and would have eventually found the original. But early 2000s, you had to, like, already know that sort of stuff to, like, be able to follow it. It's not like today where you can just, like, Wikipedia article anything that your heart desires and click link until you get to the end.
Yeah.
You kind of had to already know, like, what was going on, who to be following, and most of us didn't have that luxury. This came out, I watched it in theaters, and I didn't see it again until it was streaming.
With my history with Cage, I did not see this until I was in, I think it was after, no, it was way after. It had been about the time it was after you got me, no, not Missing, what's the, Left Behind.
Oh, the Left Behind movies.
The one that started the whole Nic Cage collection.
Oh god, that movie's so bad, but yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a little newer on this movie than most people would think I probably am.
It's a good one, though. It's a classic.
But before we dive into it, our sources for today's episode is just the special features from the DVD. There's not a whole lot other than the making of. Much better than The Rock.
Yeah, there's really not much. Did watch the original movie, did find one quick brief interview with Denise, the Toby's widow, talking about how much cars in the movies and Toby meant to her. Other than that, yeah, not a ton of resources here.
No. But before we start, Chris, what are we drinking?
Well, I have Blackjack Pirate Ale, for the stealing spirit.
Yeah, for one of our local breweries, and I just have ginger beer because I'm on allergy meds. So.
Hooray, allergy meds.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, too bad you're on allergy meds. That one's pretty good.
Is it chocolatey?
No, actually, it's very weedy.
Oh, damn. Well, I'll keep that in my fridge then.
Okay.
So, Gone in 60 Seconds. I have a question for you to begin with.
I can probably answer it this time.
Well, it's not so much about the movie, it's more of an opinion.
Oh, I have those.
What do you think about the photos and the toy cars to, like, start off fast-tracking their family history? Like, just kind of giving us this quick 2-minute catch-up of, hey, these guys like cars.
I watched this movie literally 3 times last week. And until you asked that question, I had forgotten that that's how the movie starts.
On my side of things, I think it's better than, like, a lot of those credits that start off, like, either animation or are just kind of stylized for stylized stakes. I think it adds a little character to the credits and how important cars and racing is to the family. Although I will say, I do not get the color variation throughout because it feels like they shot it and then just put a bunch of films over it to change the colors like old school movies, and it just doesn't work.
No, I agree. I think my main complaint with it is, while this movie, when you like really boil it down, is two brothers being willing to go to the ends of the earth for each other, I don't really care that Cars was like always a part of their life, because we explain that, like,
we see that through so much of the rest of the movie.
Yeah, like, we see, like, immediately, like, Kip's reason for being the way he... Like, it's not, like, a secret. I know some parts of this movie eventually, like, kind of play it as, like, oh, you idiot, why couldn't you just see it the correct way? It's like, this was not... There was no mystery in this movie. There was no confusion. This is not, like, drama, romance, rom-com where everything gets messy. This was very straightforward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do like that it did keep it very much about the brotherly love.
Yes.
Rather than trying to expand it into 20 other different things it could have been.
I completely agree, and I do think that they managed to do that while hitting all of the stereotype nails on the head, because I do think for this movie to be fun, it needs to be the stereotype it's meant to be.
Yeah, very much so. Well, and I think it does deviate from some stereotypes, and, like, well, I'll get to that in just a second here, but...
Sure.
One thing I do like from the beginning is a constant reminder of time that's constantly telling us how quickly this movie's supposed to be happening, even though it's like, what, a close to hour 40-something? Almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. No, I actually really liked the way that the time is handled in this movie, and I think I like it a little bit better than some of the other movies around the same time period, because there were a handful of, like, time-based movies and TV shows that are all roughly early 2000s, a few 2010 ones thrown in there, and they all use pretty much the exact same format of, like, clock counting down.
Yeah.
This one I liked the slight deviation. It still got the point across very clearly. And honestly, I didn't worry about it too much. I just needed to know, like, this is an impossible task.
Yeah, well, it also makes me think of a little bit going back to some westerns of, like, 3:10 to Yuma, where you're constantly reminded of the time frame of when the train's supposed to be getting in.
Exactly. It worked well enough without holding my hand too much.
Very much so. And also, it's the same thing with the break-in that we see in the beginning, is it's showing how this crew operates is they're kind of reckless. They're not really trying to be stealthy. They're just, it's a little bit for the thrill that it feels like initially.
Absolutely.
And it also doesn't help that the music for a good chunk of this movie
yes
feels like it's at 2000s, you wouldn't steal a car.
Okay, so that music is 100% based off of these movies.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think that the music for this is a bit hilarious because all of this music is so stereotypical car chase and theft soundtrack. It's not wrong. It sounds great for the majority of the film. I don't really have any complaints, but it also does not stand out in any way. And I say that with the comparison bar being really fucking low.
Yeah.
Because I think the only car movie that I can guarantee point at one song, a singular song, and be like, I know which car movie this is from, is the first Fast and the Furious movie, because one song was written for the movie.
I was thinking Cars.
The kids show?
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't count.
Totally counts.
That doesn't count.
It's a car movie. It's about racing.
Which cars? The one with the Pope in it?
I've only seen the first one.
Oh, you need to get into the fact that there's a car Pope.
I'm aware of the car Pope.
You need to expand your Larry the Cable Guy car world.
I'm aware of the implications of the car Pope and the fact that there's probably a car JFK in that universe that was in another car that got shot by...
There was 100% car World War II.
Oh, yeah.
Because one of them is a Vietnam vet.
Is a war vet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that mess a different day. This one has no universe to worry about.
No, well, it's got its own, like, little microverse.
It has a microverse, but yeah, it's not the implications of Pixar's nonsense.
No, not at all. But, like, showing the immaturity of the rest of the crew of, like, getting someone into a road race and getting the cops involved. I do think it's funny in this era. You can see it's like in the mid to late 90s, early to through a good chunk of the 2000s, where they have the minority cast member, in this case a black guy, who's the one with the common sense to try and, like, counter the previous stereotypes.
This was such a thing in the early 2000s, and I really have no good explanation for it because I don't have enough, like, broadband cultural, like, experience to, like, know, like, what Hollywood felt his need to be in every film was. But yes, this character made an appearance everywhere, and usually a action film or a horror action film where, like, most of the cast is dying.
And I feel probably because with us being brought up, it was a different set of movies that we weren't exposed to the previous stereotypes as much as in, like, the early 90s and 80s.
Yeah.
And so this is what we got, so this wasn't any different than what we were used to seeing.
Oh, absolutely. He's a little strange of a character choice nowadays, like, looking back and watching it, but I also feel like we haven't gravitated that far from the one, like, sage character who's also the different person in the
token
group.
Minority character in some movies.
Unfortunately, Hollywood, we have not evolved terribly far beyond that, unfortunately.
Well, that's a different topic for other movies.
It is, because this movie is the most stereotype of all of them.
It's a bunch of Italian dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good point. One thing I do want to praise this movie on is the writing is corny, the lines are cheesy. However, they do manage to make a nice separation with lines, acting, and choices for the quote-unquote younger crew to the older, more experienced crew who are still stupid, still over the top. They have a weird beginning of a, like, chaste theft ritual. Still goofy, but they feel more mature without physically looking more mature or different, because
Well,
honestly both sets of people look the same age.
And it's because of this intro with all the antics, especially with
Yes.
this ruining their mission. And like there's other dumb things about this movie too. Like at one point during this chase, one of the guys just vaults over a turned over shopping cart for no reason. It's always
no reason.
It's always that like industrial kind of punk where they're like, I feel the Matrix is a little bit to blame for this.
It is 100%.
But it's just like trying to be a little too cool for what it really is.
Yes, and I agree. I do think the Matrix pushed that idea of like over the top action where there really didn't need to be. Granted, it worked in that scenario because everything was everything all the time. It worked.
It's something you can overlook of like some dude vaulting a shopping cart, but upon like the second or third watch, it's just like
it is weird.
Yeah, it's like why?
Okay, so part of the why is because a lot of these movies had very tiny budgets. This movie had a decent sized budget. I wouldn't say tiny, but when your budget is around 90 to 100 million,
just a tiny budget.
It's not bad, but most action films, budget's not that big. This movie had a fairly big budget, though most of that money did go to the cars, and we will get to the cars. But part of that is just using whatever is like free in the parking lot that you've borrowed for the weekend, and said shopping cart was clearly just like hanging out, and then one guy's like, I could jump over that. Do you want to put that in the movie?
Sure, let's go, guys.
Yeah, that's dope. That's cool. Can you flip too? Like
we are so far away from parkour, but we're not that far away.
We are inching closer to parkour.
But I also appreciate that the cops are a little dumb initially, like not to think about a black light when they see the fraction of a light bulb, because here, I mean, to be fair,
this is very elaborate plot for car theft.
Yeah, if there was not this oversight, this movie would have been over so quickly.
Okay, this is one thing that I do want to somewhat applaud this movie for. The inclusion of this specific cop department, and also playing a little bit on the rift of how stupid it is that this is the department that this action film is focused on, is the car theft department, as opposed to just saying like police in general, just having it be the cops. They have specific the cops.
I'm sure if there's enough of car theft, it deserves its own department.
No, I'm not saying that they don't have a department. I'm not saying this is based in reality in any way or not or whatever. I'm saying that this movie made the conscious choice to not just say the cops, but have a specific police department to then have other police department riff on how like they don't do anything.
Yeah.
Kind of elevates this to a little bit of a silly status, and I think actually works, because if you remember, early 2000s, one of the most popular genre of TV shows was fill in specific cop here. New York police, LA police, surf police, boat police, bounty police, 3 different bounty polices.
I was in Germany.
Okay, so to fill you in very quickly, we all had a weird obsession with very specifically federal government employees and what branch they worked in. I blame the original,
I only had CSI and JAG.
JAG, I think, started the problem, if I'm honest.
No, if anything started the problem, it's 12 Angry Men.
Well,
that era.
Okay, yes, obviously, but I do think JAG, like, helped specifically target in on like a very narrow branch of police or government.
West Wing as well, I remember that.
Yes, that was also a big one. And so like this, I felt like it was a little bit of a rift on the popularity of hyper-specific branch of police or government force. And they were like, what if we used the stupidest sounding branch of police force instead of just saying the cops?
You gotta make them sound special, like they're experts in this field.
They did, and it almost worked, because every time these guys are on screen, I'm almost convinced that they're cool. And then I'm reminded by the rest of the cops that they're not.
Well, I think that works specifically only for Detective Roland Castlebeck, because
absolutely,
he does have a much more impressive role as a cop later on in the movie.
I agree. Like, it does, the idea does get very close to being actually good.
Yeah.
It just, once you sit and think about it, it does unravel.
Yeah, even if he doesn't recognize a black light.
Well, this is 2000. He should have known what a black light looked like.
Yeah,
they were everywhere. I had like 3 in my own bedroom.
Yeah, from the 70s, everyone should know what a black light is.
Well, and they were popular again. Like, I distinctly remember, like, every friend I had one, because we thought, like, that's what people at clubs do. In 2000, we were not going to the clubs. We were too young. But we assumed that that's what the club was like.
I just can't help but think of the Wise Kids You Know sketch.
I mean, that was us. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Gross. But I do like how this serves as a contrast to when we finally get to meet Memphis, who's coaching go-karts as a way to majorly distance from the city and how estranged he is.
I appreciate he's still found a car hobby.
Very much so, but it makes Atlee, when he shows up in this kind of adjacent suburbia, feel really out of place.
I totally agree. I also love that from the get-go, we cram as many stereotypical things into Memphis's character as humanly possible.
Oh yeah, it's the whole, just when I got out, they pulled me back in, kind of Italian mafia kind of bullshit.
100%. They also throw him in the most disorganized shack of a car shop known to man. He's working with kids. How wholesome is that?
Yeah.
He doesn't want the kids to hear any bad things, so he gets a different adult to watch them while he goes off to the corner to talk business.
Well, they have to go to not just the corner. He's like, I thought we were going to go get a drink. So he takes him to the office.
Yeah, this is, they really are cramming every possible character development into this man from the get-go.
Yeah, it's you were so good back in the day, you had to leave, otherwise you'd be in much more trouble. But it's also there to establish how old school these guys are, that they've been out of this for probably like a decade at this point.
Yeah, they never actually say that he, does a bunch of hard time for this, and, that's part of, it's implied. But, yeah, the timeline's a little vague on Memphis here.
No, he never does hard time, because remember, the cop is, Castlebeck is like, if I ever caught you one of these days.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's the white whale of car thief.
Well, he's Castlebeck's Eleanor.
Absolutely.
And then also, they explain it later on with the mother of, I promised mother that I wouldn't I would leave it so that way you didn't see it as a good thing.
The mom character cracks me up. We'll get to her.
Yes. But it's also a way to set up that, hey, these guys were badass back in the day, but there's a new king in town, and he's even scaring the old school guys.
Whoa, who could this possibly be?
Yeah. We would get a meet right away, because there's not even hey, we gotta build this up. It's like,
no,
nope,
immediately.
Just go right to meet the man.
Honestly, I prefer it this way.
And I do like him as a character, because, one, it's Doctor Who.
Well, yeah.
It's Chris Eccleston.
It is, yes.
But I like that while he's trying to understand the U.S., he wants to understand it so he can hate it more.
Yeah, I appreciate that in someone. If you're gonna have a rivalry with an entire nation, really get to know it.
I refuse.
Yeah, comment held.
I know enough about the French.
Okay.
I know enough.
Well, this man's at a next tier. Not only did he say, I hate America, but then he comes here, wants to steal a bunch of our cars, because he needs to know America better?
No, he has a client. He
does have a client.
It's just he's trying to relate to everyone of why are you guys the way you are? Why are you guys awful?
Yeah, he really is just the worst, and I love that they make him that way from the beginning.
Oh yeah, well, and it's also Memphis thinks this is a cut and dry deal of okay, here's how much he owes you. Sorry about this inconvenience.
I love he just has that in cash, just hanging out on him.
Well, he had to just pull it he had to get it from somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got something stashed away, because he can't legally have the stuff in a bank. They're going to ask questions.
Oh yeah, no, he's got a coffee can in the backyard. He's had thousands of caches hanging out in, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's also just Doctor Who's time to establish the timeline.
Yes, I appreciate this a little bit.
But also 100% you know what? It's your problem now, man. I don't care, because he has to deliver still. It's not the fact that you can buy your way out of this. You still have to deliver everything else.
I do wonder if the movie might have been a more interesting twist if this had been played just a little bit our bad guy isn't just weirdly cruel about no, I'm gonna crush Kip, I need the cars, but being no, I've now caught the bigger fish. You're my new bitch.
Well, exactly. And I mean, there's other things too that they make him a little bit too weird, where he's got when he's talking about all the furniture, cool little side thing to have of contrast of he likes this warm organic material against the cars, where the cars are all just business to him. It's not a passion at all. Which
is interesting, because clearly this movie was made for and by car people, and not furniture people.
But the thing that makes it weird is he made an entire relatively nice made coffin and upholstered it just to threaten of I'm gonna throw you in here. This is the only one I've made. It's Why?
I think I would save my luxury coffin for myself.
Yeah, like immediately after this, we see him trying to crush Kip in a car, and it's like,
okay, but the car crushing is pretty badass. This is a good torture way.
Oh no, I think it's great. It's a good way to like, hey, you love cars so much, go die in one, basically.
Yeah,
but
it's threatening.
It just makes the rest of the furniture bit such a weird thing to try and contrast his character to.
Also, like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate a movie piece of furniture as much as the next person, but I don't think that the crew writing the dialogue and making the set was as much of a furniture person as they were a car person. Fine, this is a car movie.
Yeah.
However, if a key component of your character is that he's a furniture dude in a car world, pick better furniture. Pick more iconic furniture. Pick luxury furniture.
No, because he's making it himself. It's about crafting it.
I get that, but as a furniture maker and someone who went to school for furniture, this man is not on the same level.
Maybe he's a more more minimalist.
There are people who they could have like snuck in. There are bits like the way this movie sneaks in every cool car that was popular in and around 2000. The way that they incorporate like most of the action around the cars, the way that even Kip is being threatened, being crushed in a car crusher at the junkyard. Mm-hmm. Our bad guys thing is furniture, and we didn't put hardly any furniture bits. There's not even like a Les Mis chair in the background.
To be fair, we always see him here and at the end of the movie.
I agree. There's plenty of furniture that could have happened. I'm just saying this man's a poser. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, I don't agree with that.
I feel like they could have worked the woodworking as opposed to metal in a little differently.
You just want more fancy furniture.
I do, actually, and I prefer new fancy furniture if we all could get around to picking something other than the Les Mis lounge set.
Well, he's not modern. He's more a classic evil asshole.
Well, also, famously, that is car-esque design was Les Mis. A lot of aluminum, a lot of leather. It would have made more sense for him to be an Eames person.
Okay, you gotta explain this Les Mis to me, because I'm thinking of the musical.
Oh, sorry. No, Méliès.
Okay.
The architect who was a bit much. He also did furniture.
Oh, Mies van der Rohe?
Yes?
You're thinking George Méliès, the...
I am thinking of... Yes.
Yeah.
No. The other one.
Okay.
Their names all blend together. The one who did the stupid lounge set.
There's hundreds of architects, I feel, yeah.
There are, and like half of them all also think of themselves as furniture people. No, the one that did the lounge set for the Spanish people, for the Spanish World Fair. The Spanish Pavilion.
I can't remember.
You've seen it because it's in every damn TV show.
Okay. I do like that when we do finally have the brothers together, you can tell that one of them is really doesn't have his shit together. The younger brother, Kip.
Yes. I love that he comes out of the crusher already swinging. Like, He's like, what are we doing? You should have just shot him. Like, no, idiot. You missed the whole point of that interaction, didn't you?
Yeah, there's 2 of us and 6 of them. Like, what do you expect was going to happen?
Yeah, like, from the beginning, it is pretty obvious that Kip has fairly unrealistic expectations of his brother.
Well, not just that, but also, well, yeah, that actually, yeah, 100% that. But also, they completely different understand, or they have a completely different understanding of the situation they're in, where Kip is very gung-ho, that young, hot-headed, new shit on the scene.
Oh yeah, he's so confident that they can just get this done real quick. It'll be easy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, we can do this with both of our gangs put together. Yeah, we can totally make this happen.
Well, and it's not even before the gangs are together. Like,
That's true.
This is like in that first interaction out of the car.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But even when they get back, it's the slop that he's making. Like, you can see he's trying to impress his brother, and then there's that light little bit of comedy of, I've got everything under control, and then his kitchen's on fire.
Yeah, that was a good touch.
Yeah. It's got those nice little moments of, like, family camaraderie that I think this movie really did get right in establishing family and how much Kip looks up to Memphis.
No, I agree. I think they managed to write 2 adult siblings fairly well. It's surprisingly good.
Yeah, a bit better than the movie I just finished, Armory.
Oh, yeah. I feel that.
Arsenal. I just watched. Yeah, but even then, like once we have this catching up with the mom, I do like that when they get to the cops, that they're it's not that they're we talked about that they're maybe a little stupid at times, as most of the people are in this movie, but they're good at putting pressure down on Memphis of like, hey,
yeah,
why are you here, man?
What you doing? Heard you in town. Why?
Yeah. Well, and also it sets up their dynamic too of this buddy cop dynamic.
It is an interesting choice they went with there.
Well, I think it's a good way to pair him against Memphis and Kip because...
True. They do have similar dynamics with experienced and then also the hot-headed cop. It's a good balance.
Yeah, Drykoff is very young and immature. He makes stupid jokes about Castlebeck's wife, and he's like, no, you don't do that.
Never talk about my wife again.
Exactly. But this whole scene's a nice little bit, not to just get Memphis caught up with why he left the game, or get us caught up with Memphis and why he left the game with his mom.
True.
Which, it's a little exposition-y, but that's fine.
It is.
But it's a good way to set up their kind of vendetta with the cops as well.
I agree. I do think it is a bit of a double-edged sword. Because while they quickly throw in lines of Memphis asking Kip, like, have you talked to Mom about this? Have you talked to her at all? Mm-hmm. And she just kind of is like, no, Kip just kind of slid off the side of the earth one day, and I haven't talked to him since. It feels very strange when the entire premise of the movie is that, like, these boys love their mom so much that one of them's willing to give up a very lucrative career as a crime boss.
Well, not just a crime boss, but he knows he'd get caught at some point, and that's why he gave it up. So that way, Kip could not walk in his shadows.
Yes. And yet, nobody talks to Mom?
Like that's just the draw of Memphis's legend is... Kip is like, I'm going to be the next Memphis. It doesn't matter what Mom says.
Yeah, Memphis doesn't even call Mom regularly. Like, this, it is... I see it. I see what they were trying to do. It just eventually sort of unravels a little bit, because we also, like, barely ever see Mom again.
No, yeah, I think we see her in, like, the barbecue together at the end.
The very end, as like oh yay, and Mom's here too. It's like, did Mom really need to be here?
Well, it's a brothers movie.
It is.
It's a family movie without Mother, who apparently can't keep the family together.
Yeah, like maybe Mom didn't need to be in this, but that's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
But this pressure is good to force Memphis into, like, finding his crew for one last job. Which...
I like this scene, because a lot of these action movies, especially in 2000, everybody that was on the crew takes very little bribing to be returned to said crew. This one, we had a list that we had to go down to find everybody.
Yeah, well, and I like that everyone who they do get in touch with, at least the couple that have the time to have more lines, everyone knows about Kip. Yeah. And it's just like, it shows how interconnected this car world is in this movie.
Yes, I agree.
But I do also like that, it takes them so long to get anyone. Because even Memphis is doubtful that any of this can be done. So this is why he has to get help, because he and the old man can't do it by themselves at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially since, to be fair, in a normal crime car scenario, the old man is useful. In this specific heist, the old man does not do much. He 99% coordinates.
Yeah, exactly.
And crosses things off of a list.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's his job. That's what he's there for.
Speaking of the list.
Well, before we get to the list,
okay.
I want to talk about some of the down to their last resorts, because that's one thing they do a good job of showing, that some have gone bad, some are in jail, some are actually dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a good, like, quick little in bit. Because it does come back later as part of Memphis's characters, that's something he regrets a lot.
Yeah. Well, and even on top of that, like, some of the comedy in this is a little dated, especially playing into, like, the Asian lady driver who can't drive and the black dude who can't swim. I mean, it's dated for the 2000s, but at the same...
Yeah, but 2000s.
And at the same time, like, I'm a white boy who can't jump. So, like, sometimes the stereotypes do even out a little bit.
Here's the thing. I was really, really, really hoping that the girl who can't drive, who is, yes, a terrible stereotype, but the way they play her as kind of a valley girl was very funny. I was hoping that character would come back around and, like, be the causing wreck to save them on accident.
Like she would accidentally be part of...
Like, she would accidentally, like, cut the cops off and cause a huge accident on the highway.
Yeah, that she got brought back and wasn't just a one-bit joke.
Because she wasn't a one-bit joke. She was a two-bit joke.
Fair, yeah, when she crashes the second time.
And the rule of 3 says that she should have been the thing that causes the gang to make it to the final moment. And I won't lie, it is both impressive writing that they didn't do that, because that was very obvious. The second time I saw her, I was like, she's coming back.
It's not that kind of comedy.
It's not. But at the same time, it was a little disappointing that I never got a third funny bit, even if it had been incredibly brief, like she hits a mailbox as they're all having the barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no third little funny from her? Nothing? Okay, well...
It works.
I did like that she cries her way through the DMV. That part really did tickle my fancy, because I also cried my way through the DMV just a little bit, and that is how I got my license, and that's okay.
Weak.
I'm bad at tests.
But I also appreciate, like, while they're recruiting some of the other characters, they give them just enough to make them interesting. Like, when they recruit Sphinx, and he puts the sandwich on the corpse.
Yes.
And it just shows how cold he is, and, like, how little he speaks of, like, this is Sphinx.
Press 1.
Press 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
Sphinx's character was such a stereotype, but done in such a fun way that I didn't really care that, like, he essentially only served purpose as a meat sack.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's the muscle. He's the most stereotypical muscle.
He is literally the most stereotypical muscle, to the point where the final joke of the movie is the fact that he has intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that is almost brilliant writing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, like, they do some other some nice stuff here too, where when he does go to recruit Sway, which is like the last person he wants to have in here, when you just hear, "Hey, basically, hey, what's up?" It's that slow turning of the wrench of, like, God damn, this man again.
Yes.
And
yes.
I also appreciate how, like, the other guys are like, yeah, let's do it one more round.
One more round. And she's like, no, I'm finally done with this shit.
Exactly. It's harder to get her back because while she's attached to Memphis, she's not attached to Kip as
not
Memphis
in the same
is.
way.
Exactly. Yeah. There's still something there, but it's not strong enough to bring her back into the life compared to the other guys who are just kind of tired of whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I do appreciate, though, that her final sway at the end is not that she's doing it for Memphis, but she declares she is doing it for Kip. Which I kind of like, because otherwise her entire character just revolves around Memphis only. Mm-hmm. That's kind of boring.
And it makes it just a stereotypical love interest, sexual tension portion of the movie, which we have that.
We definitely have that, but I appreciate that there's, like, the barest hint of try as to making her just, like, part of the gang. She does care about Kip. I guess if I'm going to jail, might as well be for the kid.
Yeah, might as well be doing one last good thing.
Exactly.
Well, and even then, like, this movie does this thing where it has to, like, keep trying to build up drama in, like, areas that I don't really care for as much, like with the turf war and the rival boosters. And it's a way to show that Kip is causing a lot more trouble than he probably thinks he is. But it's a way for us to have a little bit more action after we haven't had action in, like, 20 minutes, and then
yeah, that's true. It does. I mean, it improves the pace of the movie, but yeah, I could care less about these rival gang people.
Yeah, it's just there to show that Sphinx is a badass and will blow up shit.
Yeah, no, that scene was cool, but yeah, I don't care about the gang. I appreciate that we at least wrote them in multiple times into this movie.
Yeah, well, and also that Memphis isn't the brawn, he's the brains, because he gets his ass kicked.
True. That is true.
And it's like 3-on-1, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it helps solidify Sphinx a little bit better, too, because while they did pick a very, like, intimidating-looking actor for Sphinx's role, there is some noticeable camera play to make him bigger and taller than he actually is, compared to some of the other stunt guys. Not necessarily bad, but I think if they hadn't added some of the just, like, cold-hearted punching, it wouldn't have had the same effect.
I think Vinnie Jones is actually pretty tall.
No, he is. It's just unfortunately next to some of these stunt guys who are also big and tall, he doesn't come across as, like,
He's 6'1". He's
No, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying they also had other big, tall dudes on the set. And he's meant to be the biggest, tallest, baddest dude because he's the muscle.
It's still young Vinnie Jones. I'm
No.
gonna argue against you with that. I don't see that as all. He is 100% the biggest badass or strongest guy in this movie.
No, that's what he's supposed to be. That's what he's supposed to be, and I think the blowing up of cars scene amplified that.
Yeah, accentuates the badassery of it. It's not just strength, it's a little bit of smarts of blowing up their car to get their attention.
Exactly. Now they have no getaway.
Fair. True. Well, do they need a getaway? He kicks their ass. They're stuck there.
Well, can't escape.
Yeah. Well, and we also pair this action with some family drama of the reason they even went down the bad road in the first place is because Dad died. It's setting up the brothers to be very different in what they want. Memphis did it for the thrills, and Kip does it for the money. It's almost like a process versus a product killer.
Yeah, I see it. It's kind of sort of important for the end of the movie because otherwise the weird misunderstanding, like, twist, I guess, wouldn't have been a twist. However, it's so bleh that I don't care.
Yeah, it's all there just to give Kip a warning that we know he's not listening to. But at the same time, while we have these dry moments, when they bring the cops back, they do it in a way that starts serving as additional pressure, because not only do we have the clock, they still don't have their crew or their plan together. Now the cops kind of have an idea on, like, they're working towards the heist just ever so little bit of, like, what's he doing back?
Yeah, that's true. I do like that the cops are not total idiots in this movie. We have at least one smart cop.
Very much so. And now that we actually do have our crews together, I do like that it's the meshing of the young and the old.
I love that Memphis asked, well, what are the people in your crew good at? Because I have some very clear stereotypic roles filled. What are your people good at? And he's like, well, this guy's good at ordering pizza, and this guy's a good hacker. And, like, eventually that does play out.
Well, that's the thing, is, like, the hacker's there just to, like, kind of bring some modernness to this movie, which I like that the hacking is just ever so minimal.
It is the most minimal, which, watching this so many years later, the hacking in a more futuristic car movie could have been much more, like, impressive. Could have, like, self-driven cars to the site sort of bullshit. This is 2000. The most this man is needed for is the digital keys. Yeah. And even then, he's not the one doing that.
That's impressive for the time, though.
Yes, for the time.
Well, and I also like that even though they have all these capable people, there's always there's that one stereotypical character in a movie, he was useless. Yeah, but... And they're like, by the way, this is our useless crew member. He's just here for the vibes. We just like him.
We like him. He's good at ordering pizza. It's like, well, I do like pizza, so I guess.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And, like, again, it's this back and forth of, okay, now we've got all this build up for this crew. And the cops are actually kind of doing their jobs. They're like, okay, we have a rough idea of vaguely the cars that they'll be looking for, like the areas that they'll be staking out, but we don't know 100% yet. And they're at least doing their jobs. They're just not these convenient cops that just show up to build tension. It's slowly working it into the rest of the pacing of the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. That list. I know you want to talk about the list.
I like the list, yeah.
I do appreciate that it's kind of this thing to show that the brother has a lot to learn. Yeah. And also it's there to put like a little bit of conflict of the old timers are complaining about the charges or the changes of everything. But them having to like explain why they call the cars girl names.
Okay, I'm glad we got to that. Because I, from a heist movie standpoint, can agree that all of the cars being given a name makes it much easier when walkie-talkie radio being like, Samantha is coming in hot, as opposed to like, fill in stupid name of a lot of these sports cars, because a lot of them are just a bunch of letters and numbers kind of mushed together. None of them have like recognizable names. It would be easy to get confused. Well, or cross off the wrong one. Here's the problem. Okay. The list from the client written in normal car language. That makes sense. You don't want to confuse anybody. You want your grocery list from your Walmart shoppers to be correct. Then they go and they give everything a name. Good idea.
Now you've got to remember both names.
But here's the thing. They have an old man whose whole damn job is to be a walkie-talkie man and to cross shit off the list. However, if you look at the list that they have written on the bulletin board, did they write 50 women's names on the board? No. They wrote the individual car names on the board, which is the dumbest thing, because if you had 50 women's names written on the board and the cops show up, which they do, to your garage, they could be like, hey, why do you have 50 of the exact same cars? No, 50 women's names on the board.
Bring in
safe.
They could have solved this by bringing in the blacklight from the last movie, or from earlier in the movie.
They also could have just, hidden it. They have a tech guy. He could have put it behind a firewall. The cop from the car department is not going to know how to get behind the security tech dude, the hacker man from the 2000s.
Yeah, no, this is old school. This guy, he doesn't know how to use computers. You know that.
I know. So then why didn't he just write the code name that they all clearly have memorized?
Because he's a project manager.
Use the damn code name. Because that is part of this movie, is that the cops show up to their thing. They get lucky that the only thing that they're worried about is the cocaine on the ground.
Well, that's a little bit later. That's something else.
There is the list!
Well,
right there!
So
change it!
They flip it. They take care of it.
Don't need to flip it if it's just a bunch of women's names. Get some pinup posters and be like, we're having a competition to see which Miss November is the sexiest.
Well, the cop can only keep his welcome so far. But, okay, so here's the other thing where I think the car names is dumb.
Yeah, okay.
Is because Castlebeck is supposed to be this, super well-known cop.
Yeah, and he's like the car cop, too.
You don't think that he'd know that he recognizes some of these voices from back in the day of, hey, I've got Betsy on the line. I see Betsy. It's you don't think that they wouldn't have figured that out at this point?
But so the movie does kind of sort of address that.
Okay.
Because he does recognize certain people coming back around. He puts stakes on certain people. And he recognizes specifically one of the cars has a quote-unquote special name. And even he knows that one's special. He knows Eleanor. So, first off, y'all need to start using different code names every heist. You can't call the same car the same name every time.
You got that one trophy. Its name's never gonna change. Although I've never understood naming cars and guitar. I've never done it, so
it is very much like a Carbro thing to name your cool custom car. Some of us name just our average stock car that we bought off the lot for shits and giggles, really.
Yeah.
I will say that part of the reason why they name the special Shelby GT500 Eleanor, and why they refer to that car only as its, code name for the whole movie, is because the car that's on the screen does not match what they keep saying.
Oh, does it not?
Not really, because Shelby GT500 at the time was not really a car. It was an idea of a car. And so for this...
Well, that makes it much better. It's the idea of this majestic car named Eleanor.
No, this movie's trying to sell you on the idea that that is a real car that is produced and available in the world.
Actually, here's why they didn't do that. And so that way people didn't go trying to steal whatever car Eleanor was going to be. Because some dipshits out there were going to watch this and be like, I need to boost my own Eleanor.
Probably. Granted, the rest of the list, the 49 other cars, are real cars.
Yeah, but they're not Eleanor.
And they are incredibly, at the time, rare and expensive cars. The rarity and expense of some of these cars has come and gone. It depends on which one on the list you're looking at. However, the quote-unquote Eleanor of this movie was more like 11 to 12 cars were made to look like this car, Eleanor.
Okay.
Which is a lot for filming of one movie. Normally we get 3. One to blow up, one to smash, and one to drive, right?
Yeah, the one for the pretty shots, the one for the action, and then the big explosion.
The rumor on the street
is... The climax.
Yes. The rumor on the street is all 11 cars were drivable. Which is wild.
Yeah, it's better than any of the cars not being drivable and
only being able to push them off the cliff. Yeah. Granted, they were really damn hard on these cars because a lot of these were truly stunt-driven into disaster.
Oh yeah, and not just that, but one of the things I appreciate that they did is Nicolas Cage actually drove behind the car for a lot of his stunts.
Yes.
Producers and insurance wasn't super happy about it, but
No,
Cage was all for it.
You'll notice that Cage doesn't get to do that anymore. It's not because the man doesn't want to, it's because insurance won't let him.
Yeah. Well, that hasn't stopped Tom Cruise.
Well, okay, so he has a different insurance policy, I believe. I tried to listen to that at one point. I couldn't follow. But anyway, supposedly 7 of these cars made it through the filming of this movie, still quote-unquote drivable. So theoretically, somewhere in the world, 7 of these Eleanor cars are somewhere out there. It's also really cool, if you're a car person, to know that the custom body that essentially was this car, they did use a Shelby base, I believe, but the custom body work was done by Steve Stanford and Chip Foose, who are famous car designers and had TV shows that were also kind of popular around this time. So that was pretty cool. Granted, nobody would know this unless you dug and did research.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, 25 years later. But
yeah,
now you know, if you're a car person, that this is really cool. I think the Shelby GT500 bit being a custom car only really hit to the most car person of car people.
Yeah, because
there's 49 other real cars featured in this film. And when they say the name, that's what's on the screen. They're very accurate. But
here again, I'm just gonna say I know exactly why they didn't make it a real car, out of fear that probably people would try and steal whatever the car is supposed to be similar to in real life.
I completely agree. I just think that, with the exception of probably 10 people, this cool little fact that they had a custom car, which is worth more. Mm-hmm. That I think that missed most of the audience of this movie.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, it's even there in the movie to explain Eleanor as the great thing to the youngins. It's explained that, hey, this is his car, that every time he tried stealing it, something bad happened, and he never was able to boost Eleanor.
And as someone who has and works on regularly a custom car,
mm-hmm.
the fact that Eleanor dies just willy fucking nilly, so fucking accurate. That's correct.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you in your actual classic car.
That's because it's constantly freaking dead.
Nice.
It constantly needs work. It constantly needs tuning. It constantly needs a new damn battery. Yeah. So, no, I think that for a car person, this little inside gig, hilarious and
mm-hmm.
a fun little gip. For the average person who watched this movie in 2000, I don't think any of them caught that.
Me watching it in 2025, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, now you know.
Yeah. But also, back to a little bit of the tension building here. I do like that they're building up the stakeout, and their banter actually does feel like good banter of shooting the shit over the radio of car trivia and whatnot.
That is fun. I like that.
Nice Columbo reference. But
absolutely.
The one thing that I think Cage does really well in this movie, and it just shows his skill as an actor,
mm-hmm.
is when he's wooing the car dealer. So what do you have in the back? It's how he switches from Memphis to whatever the hell that character is supposed to be, that socialite, the new money on the block.
Absolutely. It was very impressive to see him act as a person trying to act and portray that idea
mm-hmm.
pretty effectively, actually.
Oh, it was great. I watched it, I'm I kind of forgot that he switched over for a second here.
Exactly, I see it.
And I mean, all of this is just to build the tension that honestly still doesn't go anywhere, because it's still a stakeout, and they're just gathering their information, and we have to bring back in the turf war, and it's got to get violent, because we need that action again.
I don't like the turf war. I do appreciate the action, though, because having this be a fast-paced movie does improve the movie.
Yeah, well, and it's not just that, it's there to serve as, hey, the brothers are actually having to work together to get out of Kip's issues.
True, it does add enough building moments for this to be an action adventure film where they bond over the excitement and the adrenaline, and it's
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what this movie is. That's what I signed up for. I would have been kind of mad if I paid $8 when this came out.
And it was just a bunch of waiting around looking at cars for 5 minutes, like a Dragon Ball Z
yes.
scenic shot.
Yeah, no, actually, and even the TV shows of cops during this time, granted, they had some we're in the office doing office-y things, but most even then, there was so much action associated with cop and stakeout
mm-hmm.
and heist movies that having a lot of it being like setting up and prepping would be really boring.
Oh yeah, very much. And I mean that's the other thing too. It's not just to build the tension and build action. It's there to keep the movie moving. And even when we cut next to the useless crew member bringing in a obviously hot car, making shit work worse, and actually getting the cop to show up.
Yeah, this is actually... but in the end it works because it shows not just, like, how silly the younger crew are and how different the two are with the years of experience, but to also show that, like, in a pinch, Memphis's crew will help try and get them out of it. They're not going to just abandon ship.
No.
And on top of that, it kind of puts the fear into the younger crew.
Yeah, it shows that, hey, this isn't just a game. And on top of that, it's showing that the older crew can still think fast on their feet. While at the same time, Castlebeck knows his shit, and he's trying to be sneaky about his investigation while the crew's trying to distract him and hide the cocaine that's accidentally in the back of his car, yeah. But I also like that that Castlebeck is like, this is a hot car, but he's waiting for the mother lode to actually really, really get Memphis.
And I appreciate that we showed that instead of Castlebeck just saying that to somebody loosely in the hall. Exactly.
It's him like giving the warning of like, hey, I'm on to you guys. Shit's getting hot right now.
Exactly.
And even then, like, the disagreements between the young and the old, when one of them grabs like a pipe to like he's like, do I bash his head in? And Memphis is like, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you going to do with the pipe?
Exactly. And then even like, it has that little bit of humor of the older guys being more like parents rather than siblings.
Yeah, it does have that vibe.
Pulling the privileges from the kiddos and now having to babysit them. / it also sets up to mentor them because in a way, if this movie didn't end the way it did, it almost sets up for like a series of, hey, this is a crew of mentor-mentee kind of stuff.
Yeah, and while while we don't ever want to think about potential sequels while we watch movies like this one specifically, it would have been a better way of doing it than just, like, having Kip run free, not really doing anything. However, once again, it does kind of prove my theory that Mom did not need to be in this film.
No, not at all.
Like,
she's just there for exposition.
She's just there for Memphis's exposition.
Exactly.
Which he gets enough of. I'm good. I don't need any more reason for you to help your brother. Go.
Yeah, they could have done that conversation with him when he went to meet Sway of like, exactly. I got out because I promised Mother.
Oh, exactly. That would have been plenty. I did not need her.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's time for like the real start of like the kind of heist bits, which
it's starting to get cool. It's starting to get more high speed.
Cool, but not cool at the same time because they got their outdated their music that's out of date with the rest of the movie.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
But funny ritual to the build up to the shaking. Let's go.
And this feels like the most Cage part of the film. Mm-hmm. I 100% have no doubt in my mind he is the one who thought of this.
Oh, 100%.
There is no way he didn't, because this is the most cagey part of the movie in a Cage-based film, and which is honestly fairly Cage-free. Like, for a movie starring Cage, he's in a lot of the scenes. He does a good job of just kind of playing the role as, like, part of the film, as opposed to, like, doing something different.
Well, I think part of it is when Cage gets really cagey is when he's raging.
I agree. It's when he's raging, or when Cage thinks too hard about a character. Which is something that we now appreciate because he is given so much more freedom over script parts, over dialogue.
Oh man, I'm wrapping up like the last dozen Nic Cage movies I haven't seen, and like so many of the last ones I haven't are Saturn Productions, which is Nic Cage's production company.
And it's such a difference.
Oh, it's drastically different.
It's such a difference.
Oh man, I don't know if this one is actually Saturn Films, but man, Gunslinger.
Yes.
This is Bible. It's good. You should read it.
It's so bad, but it makes sense in the context of the rest of the movie because he has a hand in the rest of the characters and the rest of the development. Movies like this one where he plays pretty much straight through, like it's not overly Cageified. Mm-hmm. He does a good job of just being the actor and doing the normal what you expect out of an actor. However, the man cannot stop himself from overanalyzing, and so I point to this as proof that Cage once again thought too damn hard about this character.
Well, and I'm thinking too damn hard about this movie too, because while I appreciate the high tech and the false fingerprints,
it's stupid.
What about security cameras? This is 2000. Security cameras are kind of a common thing nowadays.
Yeah.
I know we get the little bit later with heisting from the cops joint.
So, okay. 2000s, movie 2000s especially, the traffic cameras still have the quote-unquote enhance. Can you clear that up? Can you clean that up? And we all, like, at the time were like, that's not how that works.
No, at the time we were like, that's cool that tech can do that. And then we got older and we're like, that's not how enhancing works. Or zooming in works in general.
100%. So, like, I do appreciate that while there is some future tech bullshit, like the way the fingerprint thing works, like, can you fake someone's fingerprint? 100%. I don't need it to be a sticky tab that I put on my finger.
Yeah.
I can just have a, like, but it doesn't matter. It's just enough without overstepping any lines.
Very much so. It's a nice little blending of old school heist with just a little bit techiness without dipshits like me overthinking it.
Oh, 100%. Something though that I do appreciate is this is based in LA because I genuinely don't think that this heist movie could happen anywhere else. This number of, and granted, some of these cars, when you actually look at the list, you're like, oh, yeah, it's a rarer or more expensive car, but it's not like the most rare or the most expensive of that line. However, the implications for a non-car person would be that, like, 50 of the most rare cars on the planet are all in one city, available for stealing on one night, only in LA.
Yeah, in the 2000s, I think that's where most people would think is California. Maybe New York, but it's too congested, I'd say.
Too congested, and also LA, still to this day, has a pretty big car record. Partially because cars don't rot in LA. They don't have enough moisture, so if you're going to buy an antique or specialty car, LA's a pretty good place to be looking. Fair.
Also, fun bit of trivia, we've done 2 deep dives back-to-back where we've had people from Scrubs.
That's true.
Dr. Kelso is in this as one of the people who gets his car taken, so...
Yes, I think that might be the only part of this movie my husband remembers.
No, I can see this movie not being his because it's not fast-paced enough.
He watched it. I told him what movie we're doing today on my way here. He had forgotten he watched it. We watched it last Thursday.
Nice.
He was present.
Nice. But I do like, even though we have all this tension built up and things are going well, of course things have to go bad at one point. But the way they do it is Memphis has like this feeling of like, oh, this is bad. Wait, maybe I should resurvey the area of like keeping his head on the swivel. And then he's like, yeah, that's a cop van.
Yeah, I do love that they stake out in the most normal cop van known to man, other than it could have been white. That would have been even more coppy.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, yeah, they don't even, like, this is a car-based movie. You're not even gonna, like, hide in, like, a normal minivan, like a mom vehicle?
No, they gotta fit all their equipment in, Chris.
A mom van could have done it.
No, not according to the 2000s movies.
I agree. The 2000s logic says it must be the kidnap van.
Yeah, we don't have the vans yet that the seats completely fold down.
No, we do.
Not in the 2000s.
Yes, we do. They were not electric, but those suckers went full flat.
Huh.
And you can take them out and yeet them, so that way you can have an air mattress in the back.
Interesting.
I had friends. They had cool vans.
Weird. But even then with all this, the dumbass kids mess up because they're repeating their old ways.
Yeah, but I kind of like it because, again, it really emphasizes that, like, the experience is what is important here.
Yes, and it pushes them to go back and steal the cars under the cop's nose with the old keys, which honestly, the way they extend them having to get this is one of the dumbest things, like the dog eating the car keys.
Okay, that was the worst scene in this movie, and there's a lot of bad scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If your dog has just eaten something, like literally within minutes, it has just eaten it, having it poop out the thing is the worst way to have to spend your day.
Yeah.
I'm not saying...
To spend your night. They've only got like one night left on this.
I'm not saying you should make your dog puke without your veterinarian's approval. However, there is easy, readily accessible ways to make your dog puke if you need to, again, I recommend asking your vet, but these heist people could have made the dog puke in less than 5 minutes and had them keys back.
To be fair, listeners, most of us are not married to a vet tech who deals with this stuff all the time and helps take care of y'all's pets.
I agree, however, I grew up with dogs who regularly tried to choke themselves on treats and food.
Oh yeah, you got bulldogs.
I did have sweet and lovable bulldogs who, unfortunately, were choking hazards to themselves.
Yeah, it's called inbreeding.
Well, look, all dogs are inbred to some extent. Bulldogs just have it real bad right now. But other breeds are coming, I promise. But here's the thing. Even by 2000 standards, that information was readily enough available that you could have called the, vet hotline. This is LA. There's probably multiple, 24-hour vet ERs.
Mm-hmm.
They could have been like, oh yeah, here's how you make your dog puke. Did that work? Fair. These people took the long way for a bit.
It's just to draw it out.
It's to draw it out, and to B, finally get the turf war thing ended in a humorous way.
Yeah, that's...
It's the stupid way. It's a stupid way to end the turf war.
Yeah, just okay, oh, you guys are nasty, you're touching shit.
You touched the dog poop.
We're not dealing with this.
And sure man, you pick fights with whoever you want, but also that is the stupidest way to end the turf war.
Very much so. That's what makes the rest of it feel so pointless.
I completely agree.
And even then, with all this stupid stuff that's going on, I do like that they keep bringing back the desperation from the cops, where it's we were so close to nabbing him, but now we don't have anything. Now we know there's a bunch of cars stolen. Which ones do we watch now? They know these ones are hot. What are we gonna do? Luckily for them, all the other cars they're wanting are on that impound
list
lot. Yeah, for the most part. But it is also a moment to slow down and build up some stupid sexual romantic tension between Memphis and Sway that
did not need to be here.
Yeah, it doesn't really add anything to the movie other than, okay, they're getting back together. That's why she's on his lap and making out with him at the end of the movie.
Yeah, and don't be wrong. We already knew that they had an interest in each other from the beginning. It's implied. And the only thing this scene does is imply that both of them think stealing cars is hot.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really, re-solidify their, interest in each other. If anything, it solidifies to the audience that this is not a good relationship, and they shouldn't do this.
Yeah, they're just into the stick shifting.
They're just into cars. You can both find people who are into cars who are not also into stealing them. You can both do that and be good for each other as friends.
Or maybe they're meant for each other.
That's what
they both went clean. They were both ready to be away from the entire job.
She even says, though, the only thing that got her to be clean is breaking up with his ass.
Fair.
Yeah, I think maybe
Fair.
We stay broken up.
When you go from dating the king of car theft to probably some loser,
they'll do it.
How do they compare?
But also, girl, you were doing so well. This didn't need to be here. But, again, this is the most stereotypical car movie. At some point, we have to have a sexy scene.
We just needed some sex appeal in this movie and not get too far into it like the Fast and the Furious, where it becomes a whole plot.
Thing.
Yeah, a whole subplot.
And for a car-based movie, I hate to say it, but this is one of the more PG, sexy scenes, which I actually kind of appreciate. A car movie that's a fun heist and has lots of cars that is more family-friendly for younger audiences.
It's a huge ploy at, we need to make money on this. We can't be this 74 carsploitation movie with a bunch of titty posters in the background.
Yeah, this movie is really close to being almost young teen friendly. And
I'd say it's very much young teen friendly. I mean, even
the kissing scene really doesn't go that far. They break it off immediately to go finish stealing the car.
Exactly.
So I honestly, if the scene has to be in here, this is the best outcome, I think, because this movie is cool, and I do think that a younger kid would enjoy this.
I can see it.
Yeah, this movie's got a lot of fast cars. That's pretty dope.
It's funny enough.
Yeah, and also, imagine you're a Hot Wheels kid. This movie has a lot of cars that ended up being Hot Wheels.
I have a Matchbox version of Eleanor.
There you go.
But, so from this bit too, when they're heisting the cars from the cops.
Yes, they keep calling it boosting, which is a translation from the first one that just didn't make it.
I get a little bit annoyed with this movie because now they have masks.
Yeah, it's stupid, but here we are.
Yeah, it's just really dumb, and like having the guy come up to be like he's pretending to be a pimp, and it's like, oh yeah, you got my car. It's just like
it's stupid, but also I do appreciate the misdirection that he goes to. Because we at least break out a Barbie to have it dance.
Yeah, that's such a dumb moment, though.
It is really dumb, but I appreciate that this is like them trying to get the younger group to like actually be decent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's young, he's inexperienced, he doesn't know how to like roll off the cuff and keep a guy talking. This is what he comes up with. It's bad, but he does succeed.
Yeah.
You know?
Enough.
Yeah, it's good enough.
It's fine.
It's good enough that they get the cars.
Yeah, well, and also it's to show that things are actually going well for them, and contrasting where the cops are at because they actually get a break in the case.
Yeah.
Like this is from this light, or this glass is conductive that's from a black light, and then it's like,
oh my god, it took them forever to figure that out.
Yeah, and then it's just like, okay, now we've got that little hiccup out of the way. You know what? We're not even going to focus on these other cars. We're just going to do Eleanor to build up to the final chase, so that way we know that when they do finally get Eleanor, shit's gonna hit the fan.
Granted, I do appreciate this logic. This is smart logic. Because, again, if you were the car person, you would have already figured out that Eleanor is probably a hyper-custom car. There is literally only one.
Yeah.
Whereas the other cars, it's implied, there might be a couple of them in the city.
And you would think if you're someone who's owned Eleanor, that
you'd put a better ignition in her? Yeah,
I think better ignition or better lock system, because Memphis has tried boosting this a handful of times, and you're not worried that it's going to get stolen yet, or attempted to be stolen again? Actually, that's probably his anti-theft measurement, is he purposely doesn't work on the car. Whoever owns it purposely doesn't work on the car, so it always fucking breaks down, and so that way whoever's trying to steal it can't do it. No, it's just a showpiece.
No, this man works on this car all the damn time, and it still breaks down. However, I understand your logic of why wouldn't you put a better lock, a better ignition into it? Why wouldn't you have a kill switch? Those are things that you can put in your car where it's a secret button. The car will not start unless you flip that switch. Or put in a specific code or flipping of switches.
Some James Bond shit.
It is some James Bond shit. And some people who are really into their cars, that is precautions that they feel they need to take. However, as someone who works on a classical car that is a little bit custom, maybe a little bit more than a little bit, but those are changes of my own design. Old cars are just easy to get in if they have the original locks. And if you are a classic, it's implied that this is like a classic reproduction car. Like this guy's been working on it. If you want it to remain that way, you're not going to change the locks. And so literally a butter knife will open your car. And literally just any old piece of wire will start your car.
Damn.
Yeah, it sucks. But I do kind of appreciate that the movie left it that way. As opposed to implying that this guy has like, oh, after the first time he tried to steal Eleanor, I put all of this extra shit on her. No, he probably only takes her out a couple times a month if she starts, if he's not working on her.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. He got unfortunate that tonight's the night that the guy who's going to steal this car comes to take her again.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. But I do like my idea that he purposely doesn't work on it to fuck with Memphis.
I also find that hilarious. I just think this car, as someone who owns a car that is 1 year different from Eleanor, I think that's just how she is.
It's the third rivalry that they never tell you apart, because that's the thing. Every anime has to have has that good three triangle rivalry.
I also appreciate that the only times we see Eleanor is her parked out front of a theater, or it's I think a theater, somewhere public where like clearly there's other people watching to like kind of make sure no one's trying to steal it. The only person who's supposedly crazy enough to jump in and try and hotwire this car is Memphis.
Yeah.
Like, this person has taken some precautions. Like, yes, I would drive my old car to a well-populated spot, park it in front of the valet, be like, watch my car for me, I'll tip you extra, and give the guy, like, a big hefty amount to be like, remember my face!
I can see that.
Like, it's something that I can reasonably see an LA rich person doing.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of your arguments there.
Yeah.
So
but again, that's like a car person logic that most of this movie probably doesn't make sense to an average person.
And I'm not a car person, I just like my own stupid logic there.
And honestly, I feel like a lot of people who watched Gone in 60 Seconds are not huge car people.
No.
It's advertised for a car person, don't get me wrong, but like, I do think that a lot of this nuance totally lost on, like, a person who is not driving this older vehicle around.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of dumb things that don't really make sense unless you've seen the original, I always thought it was odd that the snake was in the back of the car, but when you watch the original, they toned it down from being a tiger cub in the back of the car to that was going to attack them.
However, I will say the original, we will remember, was a 74 film. The tiger cub was crazy. It wasn't that crazy for 1974.
No, not at all. The fashion choices were crazier than the tiger cub.
They were, but they were beautiful.
But I also like that the little commentary on how confusing the suburbs can be. Where,
I love this.
Yeah, we have 2 hours left and they are lost
They're
in
lost
the
in the suburbs.
And that's what screws them up, and that's what gets the nerd shot, is that the fact that a rental cop shoots them.
That is hilarious to me.
Yeah, like not even pulling them over to question of like, hey, is this your car? Just bang, bang,
like,
bang, bang. Car's being
fire.
stolen. It's 12 o'clock at night.
I do appreciate that. Yes, that was like this cop's initial go-to because it works in the heat of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Once you sit down, watch this movie 3 times, and then write a synopsis of it, that scene does not make sense.
No,
because that cop does not know that these are the guys.
Well, it makes sense in trying to finish up the movie because it pushes baby bro to sticking with the family that he's made, showing that, hey, I love you, bro, but this is the family I've made. I need to be them for here. This is my crew. You would have done the same for your crew if it was with them.
No, absolutely. In the logic of the movie, it works. In the pacing of the movie, it works. When I type out my final thoughts, it did not work.
No, I agree. It's a really dumb moment.
Yeah, but it does keep the pace.
Oh yeah, very much so. Because now it's all go, go, go. Because it's time for Eleanor.
This is okay. So this car is supposed to be a replica of a quote-unquote 1967 Shelby GT5. Okay. So Shelby is a Mustang variant. So, 1 year different than the piece of junk sitting in my garage. Granted, the piece of junk in my garage, I have not worked on nearly as much as Eleanor's owner. And it's also implied, because this car is not a thing, the one that you look at on the screen is not the car that they say. It's implied that it has incredibly been worked on. However, based off of lock and ignition, we know this guy has a thing for keeping it somewhat historically correct. We want to keep the original feel and look. This car goes 0 to 60 so damn fast.
Hey, that's what everyone wanted in middle school. Is like, when I get my driver's license, 0 to 60.
Which
they didn't even say like time seconds.
They didn't know how fast. They just wanted to do it.
Yeah, I want my car to go 0 to 60, and it's like, but it can get there at
2 out of my 3 cars can get 0 to 60 downhill.
Fair.
So, like, we're already off to a rough start because while the Shelby was a racing model and could do 0 to 60 fairly fast, compared to the other pieces of wonder that we have been stealing, it cannot do the same level of 0 to 60 as what we were already filming.
No.
Which means that we have sped up all of this footage. The other thing to note is there's a very good chance that if this person is as dedicated to the history of Eleanor as it is implied, this car would not have power steering or power braking, meaning that most of these stunts are not happening.
Maybe he put that in afterwards.
It is possible.
Yeah.
It is totally possible that he put in power steering and power braking separately. It's also possible that he was like, no, that's what this year and model had. I went for the high-end luxury one, and it still has it. However, that would have been 1960s power steering and power braking.
Okay.
These stunts are not happening in this damn car. Which is why they made 11 of them, and only 7 survived.
But this one's got nitro.
Yeah, that's the other part. Okay, the entire movie, literally the whole movie, they call stealing cars boosting like it is a normal-ass thing to call it. And
it's hip. It's cool. They're with it.
Yeah, okay.
My Dr. Evil impression.
Yeah, absolutely. The only way that calling it boosting makes sense is if you know that there is nitro in this movie. and that they have the switch to boost it and make it go faster so you could steal the car.
Eleanor just happens to have nitro in it.
Okay, which then implies that Eleanor is in fact not original in any way. Because that clearly is not on the original car.
You
so
don't
that means
say.
So that does imply, okay, then yes, we can do these turns. Yes, we can do these brakes. Why can I still start this damn car with a butter knife? Why would you be so dedicated to the original look and feel of the car and have a boosted engine in it?
Because they're updating the important parts of the car.
I call fucking baloney. I love that Eleanor is a thing for this movie, and they went, what do car people want? Well, there's two classes of car people. There's car people who want to go fast, and there's car people who like old car. Old car, no go fast.
Yeah.
And they combined both of those audiences in Eleanor and said, don't worry about it.
Well, I wouldn't have noticed at all. So.
It was something that really just kind of got under my skin watching this movie, because this car and apparently owner of said car is so back and forth over what they value in this custom antique car that is also apparently the most racy of all the race cars, because it's implied that Eleanor goes faster than any of the other 49 cars. Yeah. Which, if I can remind you, includes Aston Martins, Corvettes. Oh, I forgot that there was a pickup. A Ford F1 pickup. That's silly. That didn't need to be it. Oh, Ferraris, Thunderbirds are all in this.
This means nothing to me.
So those are all cars that are historically shown as very fast.
I think my dad had a Thunderbird.
Probably. They were cool.
Little two-seater?
Yeah, I think a lot of them were, yeah.
Yeah, I used it in my architecture thesis presentation.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, like, there's a lot of cool cars. There is some older ones. One of the Vipers is a 61. Like, there is some cool older cars. The older cars are just shown lightly driving away because they were not the custom specialty built Eleanor.
Well, yeah, you've got to have 30 minutes of badass action. And, like, that's the other thing, too, is, like, this scene is not just to show how badass Eleanor is. It's also a way to give Castlebeck to show that he has the skills to keep up with these guys.
The thing, though, that really just makes me laugh is this is the scene where he is being chased. They've got a copter on him. They've got the police are surrounding him. He's in the dry drainage ditch of LA going really fast. And then he pushes the boost button. And he out drives the helicopter.
Yeah, believable.
This is silly.
I don't care.
No
one cares.
No. And honestly, the movie makes such a good point to prove that no one else in this movie cares either, that, like, this is just a thing. This is how this man's been getting away the whole time.
Yeah. Well, because it's just a way to give us action to have a little bit of a heart-to-heart moment with Kip and Atlee.
I agree.
Because we got to bring it back to family of that. Even Atlee's like, maybe we should get you out of town, kid, because otherwise you're going to die. And he's like, you realize you're being a fucking asshole here.
Yeah.
The only reason that Memphis got out of this was for your dumb ass who's pulled him back in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I do kind of wish this was a little bit of a bro-to-bro moment earlier on in the movie. But...
Yeah, but I don't hate it. Like, there is plenty in this movie to make it more based on the brothers than the cool cars that we've been seeing. So I don't dislike it because this is more than most car movies would have given me.
Very much so. And it's like, it's a way to also slow down up to, because it'd be weird to cut from go baby go with the nitro to oh, it's just a scratch, where the mirror breaks and then Eleanor stalls. Like, it's that curse coming back in, which is, it's a nice way to, like, really build up this action of, like, okay, maybe shit won't go well. Like, it's been going too good again. It's that curse of Eleanor.
It is the curse of Eleanor. And I do also like that this does put him slightly behind schedule. He does technically miss the due date.
Yeah, well, and not just that. It's the bridge jump as well, which is great.
It was cool. Very unrealistic, but very cool.
Very cool. Well, it's also to give this, like, little bit of will he, won't he make it? And what it is like, okay, the curse is screwing him up until he sees the ramp. And even the dockyard chase is really cool, too.
It is cool looking.
The wrecking ball is great. The tank's exploding, which pretty solid CGI still, I think.
No, it honestly looks pretty seamless. And I appreciate that the, like, one side cop who, like, gets smashed through a wall, they, like, take a half second to be like, dude, are you okay? You literally just went through a wall.
Yeah.
Are you alright? And everyone's like, no, I'm fine, which is average action movie sort of nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're either shot dead and you crumple.
Or your anime rolling for 12 feet and then you get back up and like,
you're...
good punch, man, as you wipe blood from your
exactly.
lip.
And this movie chose to go with the good punch dude version. But they also briefly are like, dude, you just went through a freaking wall. Are you alright?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, and also with this jump too, I don't think Castlebeck shoots because he wants Memphis alive.
Yeah, I can see it. I also think that this is like the start of Castlebeck having doubts about taking out his white whale.
Yeah.
You know, like...
He wants it to go out on his terms rather than taking the cheap way out of killing Memphis.
Like, he spent so long hunting Memphis. That seems like dirty play.
Yeah, throw the harpoon or let it live.
Exactly.
Yeah. And even then, like you said, Memphis misses the time by 12 minutes. And
12 minutes, man.
This is the part where we do get a bit cagey.
Again, a little bit, but it's fairly tame.
It's in the rage.
It is.
That's the thing with a lot of actors I found out, or I've discovered recently, is when they get into, like, rage, that actual, like, pure rage, it's the same thing in every movie.
I agree. It's very rare for an actor to be able to play anger differently.
Very much so. And even then with Doctor Who being an asshole to the end, like, he still won, and he's being a sore winner about it. And I like the poetics of crushing him with Eleanor. That's a nice touch.
I do too. It's fun.
And it's a good way to bring back of like, okay, well now you're gonna die and so's your kid brother at this point. But
yes,
Kip coming back around for family is what turns it all back around of Kip's actions actually work in this case because all the other guys are off doing whatever throughout the day and it's just him and a couple bodyguards.
No, I do think that this is, I mean, it's a quick turnaround, just being like, oh, and then Kip saves the day.
Oh,
but it works. It doesn't feel terribly rushed, I don't think.
It does, and it's a quick, cheesy end fight too, because it's like, okay, this guy who's been a badass that everyone's afraid of, his weakness is his furniture being broken and being thrown at him. Like, I get being thrown at him, but like...
Yeah, the thrown at part... Again, I feel like there was meant to be more for this bad guy to kind of, like, build just a little bit the, like, his personality. Because, like, we have to be reminded that, oh yeah, wood's kind of your thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's weak.
Oh, it's very weak, especially compared to the tension between Castlebeck and Memphis, where it's like, oh shit, this is your moment to shoot, but it's ultimately Memphis that saves Castlebeck from Doctor Who. Oh,
I completely agree, and while the final scene, very cool, I appreciate that it's a little bit brutal, because he was brutal.
Him falling, it's I don't even think it's that brutal. I think it's one of the cheesiest, dumbest moments of this movie, of him falling into the only coffin he's ever made, ends up being his own coffin. It's just
it's a little overly poetic, I agree.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate that, like, we don't necessarily shy too far away from it. It's not overly gory, it's not graphic in any way, but it does give a bit of a satisfaction, because while we have all forgotten about his woodworking hobby and his love of furniture by this point in the film, we haven't forgotten how much of a dick and how mean he is, as far as we remember Kip's torture.
Yeah.
And, like, that part stuck with us, so we remember we hate this man. So it does feel a little bit like poetic justice. I just don't think that the wood furniture building part was as impactful as I think the writers were hoping.
Especially when you only see this guy twice.
No, truly, and like literally the beginning and the end.
It's the worst Chekhov's gun I've seen in a while.
Yeah, which is why I kind of wonder if maybe originally somewhere on the cutting room floor is more lines or scenes coming back and checking in with him, and him being like oblivious and just really into the woodworking. Because like then maybe I would have remembered, A, I hate him, and oh yeah, that is like his big thing.
Yeah.
But truthfully, it ended up working well after the third time I watched this and I wrote out a script. First time I watched it, I honestly had forgotten that that's what he was doing.
Oh yeah, very much so. But I do like this ending with Castlebeck where he gives away the heist of like, okay, you're going to let me go, but I'm going to give you this information. So it almost feels like this was Memphis's goal all along.
No, Memphis wasn't in it for the cars. he was in it for his brother, but also the cars were good.
Very much so.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing too, is like I get where they're going. Like it's a fine end to their parts, and then just the barbecue with him making out with Sway on the table, Sphinx finally talking with elegance and grace,
and also not being from wherever it is they thought wherever they thought he was originally from.
Yeah,
Ontario or something like that.
Yeah, and it's a nice sentimental moment of they've given him a beat up Eleanor that bro swears is legit.
Yeah, I do think that this is one of the better endings for a movie like this, where having the guy be like, no, I legitimately bought it. It is yours legally.
Yeah.
That is a good, like, we've learned a lesson moral sort of thing.
Yeah, getting the unicorn, getting the girl, and then just stalling out as the credits roll. That part's fine. It's just... Yeah. It's just cheesy and stupid.
No, it is cheesy and stupid, but honestly, that's kind of what this movie needed.
It is. And I mean, it's a good way to wrap up this the 2 years of action movies we've done with Nicolas Cage, because of that era of action that Cage did, this is always one of the ones up there. Yeah,
a lot of people love this movie, which is great. I don't think as many people, though, rewatch this movie as they, like, remember.
Yeah.
This movie sticks out. It is very different than a lot of other Cage stuff that people are remembering, especially if you, like, haven't gone through the entire genre list like we are, like what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you just, like, briefly bringing up, like, Cage films that I've seen. I did, like, Gone in 60 Seconds.
I've got 9 more, and I'll have watched every single Nic Cage movie that is currently out there as of this recording.
That is very impressive. While this movie is fun, and for a car film, it is decent, I do wonder how many people are actually, like, watching this movie semi-regularly and recommending it to me.
Yeah, I like I said, we have the big 3, and then this one always gets brought up.
I agree.
But it's rarely ever the first one that people talk about when it's Cage action. Usually it's The Rock,
Solid,
Con Air, and Face Off. Those are the big 3 actions that we get brought up. And then it's Gone in 60 Seconds is a close one, and then same with, like, National Treasure, but in a different genre.
Yeah. No, I agree, but now, especially having watched Con Air, Rock, and Face Off, and now Gone with 60 Seconds, all relatively close to each other, and not watching them, like, currently in theaters, it's kind of the only thing available, sort of thing. Like, Cage now has a fairly extensive catalog of movies and styles to pick from. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this movie. I had fun as a car person, thinking about all of these cars, looking them up, doing my little research that honestly, most of that didn't make it in this because it doesn't matter. Honestly, the cars they picked could have been any car. Hell, one of them's a Hummer. I could care less about a fucking Hummer.
Yeah.
I do not give a fucking shit about the Hummer.
Those were big in the 2000s.
They are. They were. There's been a slight comeback. But anyway, like, I had fun oogling the cars, which is 99% what this movie is for. I enjoyed learning about the first one. I enjoyed watching the first one. I don't think, though, that the people who, when we say, every November, my friend and I watch a bunch of Nic Cage movies and we review them and we, like, research them and all this sort of stuff. And every year, yes, someone tells me, oh my god, have you done Gone in 60 Seconds yet? That one's such a good one. I don't think you've watched it recently, because I liked this movie, I had fun with this movie. I'm probably not going to watch it again.
Yeah, I'd rather, speaking of Nic Cage car movies, I would rather go back and watch Drive Angry, the first Nic Cage movie we ever did.
I completely agree. Drive Angry had moreness to enjoy. And honestly, if you like Gone with 60 Seconds with Cage, you need to watch the original one.
Yeah.
I thought it was better. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, it's weirder. I think that's what this movie needs. I think it needs to be weirder.
Exactly. And I think that's the issue with this one, is it tries to play it a little bit too safe.
It is very safe.
Yeah, it's a PG-13 rating. It doesn't have a glorious fuck like Drive Angry at all.
No, but, and, like, I get it. It was a car movie to, like, kind of honor a car guy, and, like, it's for car people. Truthfully, I think it missed its audience by being so PG.
See, that's the thing. I don't think, now that we've talked about it quite a bit, I don't think it's a car movie for car people. It's a movie with cars, attempted for car people, but it's more so like, let's get anyone who would be even slightly interested in seeing the rising action star Nic Cage or the current action star Nic Cage in a fast-paced remake.
No, I completely agree, and I also think that it was very telling when I started really digging into what cars were featured in this, because some of them are really only on screen for a handful of seconds. Clearly, because whoever owned the car was like, you cannot touch my car, you cannot scratch my car. There are some legitimately cool cars on this list, and then they fill out the rest of the list with kind of like, if you're a car person, bleh cars, or depending on what type of car you are, they have a car for every car person, which kind of tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah, I just want the ridiculous 20-minute chase and titties. That's all I want out of a car movie, to be honest. Well, for the most part. I do like Death Race 2000. That one is fun.
That one is fun. I think this movie got close to some of the silliness that the 74 movie had with some of the character clothing choices, hair choices, a few of the styling choices. There was a little hint here and there of it. However, if you're looking for a Nic Cage action film, I don't know if this is, like, the one to put on your pedestal.
Okay.
I think it's time to maybe for all of us to, like, as a collective, agree that Nic Cage has done better other action films.
I completely agree. I mean, hell, Mandy's slower
yes.
burn, but I like Mandy a lot better than this.
No, I agree, and I know people are gonna be like, well, you've already talked about the three big ones. No, at this point, you need to start watching newer Cage movies, because he has more good stuff. I swear to God.
Oh, we are in a renaissance of weird Cage right now.
We really are, and I know a lot of people are off-put, because, honestly, a lot of the Cage that gets recommended is, like, stuff like this. This is from 2000, guys. We can update our Cage portfolios.
Yeah.
And I think it's time to, because while this movie's fun, this isn't the movie y'all remember, I don't think.
Yeah, so then Chris, on the good, bad, weird scale, what do you give Gone in 60 Seconds?
For me, this is a very light good bad. It is mostly bad. Don't get me wrong, I had fun with this movie. I enjoy most bad movies, to be honest with you. I will watch them happily. But it's hard to remember what's happening. The brother thing is well done, so it does get a good there. The dialogue isn't painful to watch, when the acting is alright, so it does get some good points, which is why I'm giving it good bad and not just bad. However, as far as like a overall movie goes, this isn't a good movie. There is too much wrong with it, and not even just in like a, oh, action movies suck sort of way. No, in just like a, this could have been something bigger sort of thing.
I like that while it has the setups to be something larger, that they just made it a one movie, one and done.
I also appreciate that there's not a second one.
Yeah, I'm A-okay with that. I've got to give it a good bad rating as well. I think I'm leaning more onto the good side, because I do like a lot of the action, and the story is fun enough while a lot of it's dumb. I also am not as disappointed in the cars as you are, because I'm not a car person, and I don't care enough. I just care about everything else that's happening around the cars.
No, I totally get it. I think this movie tries to appeal to maybe too broad an audience, which, this is a car movie. Lean in. I mean, that's part of why there is so many Fast and Furious movies, is we had classic in the first one, and then we just kept getting more specific with every movie as far as what car we were talking about.
A grappling hook that lets you jump from one cliff to the other. That's like the one clip I've seen from, I think it's like 9 or 10.
Yeah, no, it gets like really funkin' weird.
Yeah.
But, like, no, like, we knew this was going to be a movie to, like, showcase a bunch of cars, have a big car heist, but also they were clearly limited on which cars they could actually get, but they also wanted cars that car dudes liked, but the range of car dude is too broad, homie. Yeah. Like, narrow it down a little bit. I think we would have done better.
I feel you. But that's the end of Nic Cage November. I mean, this year and Nic Cage November has flown by.
It really has. Can't believe it's over already.
Yeah, but it's time to bundle up and get cozy for the holiday season as we buckle up for some beloved holiday specials that I'm going to say bah humbug to and piss off a lot of people with at least our first 2 movies.
And that's okay, because that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, you actually are really excited for this holiday season for once.
Yeah, I mostly like all these movies this year, which is surprisingly, because this is my least favorite time of movie.
Yeah, same. So, but anywho, this has been the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Peace. Thank you for stopping by this here town of the Good, the Bad, and the Weird.
We appreciate your listenership, and if you want more of our takes in your life, feel free to check us out on social media at The Good, The Bad, and The Weird Podcast, or TGTBTW for short. As well, if we missed a fact, your favorite part of a movie, or just have a suggestion and want to reach out and say howdy, feel free to email us at tgtbtwpodcast@gmail.com. And feel free to join our Discord at The Good, The Bad, and The Weird Podcast, where we talk about movies, just share random banter here and there. And always, check out our podcasters, streamers, or any other content creator we shout out in our episodes. We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. Peace!